saying the mountain will be up next for Scillas. Don't want to have to deal with that one. Not going to allow that free pressure that they could possibly gain by using that Monty. They're going to have the first defensive ban as well. So we will be rolling that down. They're going to take a little bit of timeout. I would expect more than likely a mirror to be picked here, just due to the fact that since they are on offense, they really don't want to have to deal with that.
We saw the strength of Mira. Well, if you were around for that last game, we saw the strength of Mira on border and how much of an influence she was round to round to round, and how much just playing the Miras resulted in kills. Maestro, not a surprise ban either, at least for attacking teams. Just okay. Vicious Gaming starting off on defense are going to be the ones to ban Mira. Well, so they play Echo a whole lot more. They love ACOGs. Vicious Gaming loves ACOGs. And to see Mira being banned over that doesn't necessarily surprise me, because they're not a team to really play her anyway. So just get out of her face, basically. Because Mira, life before Mira was essentially, there was strategy involved, but it was win your gunfights. There was a big emphasis on winning your gunfights. And after Mira, it just changed. It changed the way teams approached and the way rounds played out. And Vicious Gaming, players that love to gun and win gunfights, it's logical to ban Mira.
That Alda, it's so very dangerous that they removed away. And I'm going to assume that's actually why they banned the Maestro, due to the fact that Alda is so dangerous, and in the hands of these defensive gunners, you really don't want that. So we are going to be transitioning into the droning phase here for our first round. We're going to have to try and see exactly what they want to do with this defensive setup. See if they try and get creative, but as of right now with the silhouettes through, I'm going to assume that they're going to be holding down Fountain and reinforcing triple wall over inside of offices. I saw someone, I believe.
Right. And I really like this Nomad coming out from Mex. It would imply a way more tactical approach to their attacks rather than Mex and Abunai just running in. And speaking of, Abunai not on an entry operator as you would expect. Capitao, the choice for him, and that is definitely interesting because he has played Capitao before, but you know, in the words of the words of Scillas Guerrillas themselves, he is one of their entry guys. But we are seeing a little bit of a change here. Echo, not a surprise from Hyena. Oh, that is that's not great. That doesn't feel good.
That's definitely a wake up for that round. That's going to be Loading's head placed out on the floor for him, and that's going to be a lot of utility gone. The only soft destruction they have, as well as 2 grenades and a body. So starting things off right for Vicious Gaming. He's going to take a little bit of damage from that LMG of Abunai, but actually Abunai's going to claim the life of Drip. We'll be able to equal things out. Going to try and pre-fire back through Detector, but we'll find nothing.
Yeah, and using that new scope of the M249, which I love, by the way.
Yes,
my favorite
beautiful.
scope in game. Yeah.
I wish they would change the ACOG for that, actually, or it would be an option at least.
Wait, change the ACOG for like this scope right now? You don't like?
100%. No. I'm saying I wish they would change the ACOG to this scope, like where it would be an option. But speaking of options, Mex is going to have none as he will get taken down by Rexon, doing his due diligence on Rome here. Doodle's going to decide to rotate up metal, see if he can find anyone to possibly put some bullets into, but no victims just yet. As I just say, that Temper will rotate into 90 and get taken down. The rears its ugly head. 4 versus 2, currently with 1 minute and 15 left on the clock. The offense really just falling apart here. They really haven't been able to find their footing. Abunai tried to open up the door for him for office, but immediately got slammed shut as they've just been littered with deaths.
And I'm not sure if it was just an adaptive call to push office, but they had so much devotion to CCTV early, and then now we're seeing a heavy office presence, and there hasn't been a lot. Oh, okay, he's still tapping through that angle, and they're dart loaded. This might actually be a successful plant. We do see the C4 from below in Rexon, and Doodle, sure enough, can rotate down as well. Zampanai is going to be thinking twice about this. But sure enough, we're going to see the execution come out, and Doodle will push hallway for the potential flank. Rexon holding a wonderful angle will take out Abunai. He attempts to make his way in. All up to the thermite. duel a little bit with the smoke, but he will ultimately lose the boss. A good first round from Vicious Gaming. Very well played. Just responding to anything, really, that those Guerrillas were looking to do.
Yeah, anything but the kitchen sink really thrown at Scilla Guerrillas early on here. But again, trying to bring them back from really having one foot in the grave pretty early on. They almost got that plant down, but that gunfight with Rexon down below, which, what a smart rotate. Recognized how he still had the nitro cell. They knew they had the hatch open. Beautiful setup by Vicious Gaming as he will go down to Ventilation Workshop. But, I mean, Scilla Guerrillas early on in that round just did not have any favor. Hyena immediately taking out, not loading early on, which no soft destruction, no nothing. So they can't open up floors. They really don't want to try and go roam hunting anymore because they're already down person. If they play the trade game, then they're going to be down yet another. And they don't know really what Abu could be. It could have been possibly Abunai rotating in and getting taken down as Capital. So didn't want to play that. Rotate inside, get picked yet again. Now they're down 5 versus 3, and they're like, okay, we need to try and play our lives. We need some picks here. Abunai finally tries to open the door in the office. This is a hard rotate by Drip into 90 hallway. Gets taken down. They rotate into office, find yet another. But they are going to lose yet another body. And again, it's just, once you get in that situation, you have to try and play catch up. And it's not what you want to do that early on in the round, because it makes you expel utility early on, and you're not going to try and use for execute later on.
Right. And that switch I was talking about, CCTV, the entry, Hyena just shuts down loading, and well, then you're thinking like, all right, well, this is basically thrown out the window. Everything they wanted to do early was just immediately shut down, and that's where we saw the rest of Office come into play. Doodle just checking for drones potentially out on the highway. We'll find none. It'll be Rexon and Doodle and Drip inside of offices.
Yo, where's page up and page down? I don't know how to.
Germans, at least. To hold things down inside of here. We saw Abunai take a Drip earlier, rotating out of office. We'll have to see how this round plays out. And we were talking about it. Max Abunai entry, as far as those two players go, it looks like Emperor has basically assumed that role. Or
left shift, left control. All right,
that's
thanks, appreciate it. I won't
assumed that role from him. And
or acquired.
Worked so far. Acquired? Like, sounds like he bought it. Loading will win the duel versus Doodle. That was a mouthful. And that was in the best display of gunmanship I have ever seen.
Quite a bit of a display of gunmanship. He's going to be able to take down Doodle, which will not fare well for him. But speaking of faring, Drip's going to get his own head ripped off after he removes Nugs. Abunai will continue on this absolute tear with this cog. Oh my goodness. Everyone, this man is on just ripping people apart viciously. Bombs going to be able to take down Abunai from underneath, though. And it's been pretty equal so far. It's just Bombs and Rexon left alive for the defense as Mex is going to rotate down. He is the Nomad, which brings up a pretty solid point here. A lot of pros still trying to decide exactly what they think about this operator. Personally, I think she's got a lot of uses. She's a very solo play based operator due to the fact that you can cover literally every single one of your own angles and not have to have a single person watch it. You just put an air jab on it, you just forget about it. You just go boop, done. That's it. A little bit of utility expenditure, and you never have to think about it twice unless obviously they shoot it, but that will be a sound cue for you later on. So I think that she's beautiful in that aspect, and besides that, loading going to be full sending it in direct back end of A. Is just going to full send once again. Starts to put the bombs down, but speaking of bombs, Bombs is going to rotate upstairs. He's going to try and take his peek from hatch. Will he be able to claim the life of not loading? He goes for the IQ. Temper going to take quite a bit of damage. Bomb trying to decide if he wants to drop or not. Pops a shot to the floor, but it's not going to connect. Loading will take down Rexon. Bombs will commit himself to metal stairs. Loading covering the hatch. Temper surely covering yet another angle. He will see him in metal stairs hallway. Rotate over. Full 90 area of metal. Never going to take a long angle with that ACOG, but no bullets would connect. Backing himself up, going to expend one of those toxic babes, but it's going too far out of reach to touch anything. We'll get in by Light, and the skeleton key will be chosen to take down Bombs. Scilla Guerrillas looking good so far.
Really well played from Scilla Guerrillas too, as far as the call goes. I mean, when you're down, you have a plan going into every game, and you assume, all right, this player go here, this player go that, and it's with 5 people. And to make in-game adjustments like that is nothing short of impressive, especially when you're down 2 men and you're in that 3v3 or 3v2. To make adjustments on so few members of your team, it's that was nothing but a pleasure to watch. Stokes, what are you doing? Water? Okay. Oh.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm gonna go get a water.
Okay, yeah. You could have just.
I didn't want to tell you
it.
on Brian.
He's dancing on screen for me. Just go. Just do it. Oh, that was so confusing. Getting switched off for IQ. Temper's done that earlier this game as well. He goes. It was Monty to IQ. It's Ying to IQ. He keeps six-picking over, and it's just a little thing about six-pick that I love so much. It's not to reveal too much. It's not to show your entire hand early. You know, despite you going back to perhaps a predictable operator in the IQ, it's still an aspect of Siege that just I love. The strategy aspects, and you'll have to pick IQ, especially with Valk and Echo being unbanned, and Hyena want to play Echo, ACOG, or any ACOG defense really, and Doodle, their C4, their Valk information guide, and this is more or less what I wanted to see from Vicious Gaming is these defined roles. And you could say that, you know, they've always played these operators and whatnot, but we've seen it time and time again. Vicious Gaming switch up roles, and it's nice to see them have this clear idea, this pattern. And we're 1-1 right now, so I can't say it's paying the best dividends in the world for this week, but we'll have to see how the rest of it plays out.
I mean, if anything, once again, that last round, just Abnai really showing his amount of skill and entry fragging, especially with Capital. Like, Capital has a lot of useful utility for execution, but he's using it in different ways. He's trying to use it to get people to either forcibly back off of somewhere that he wants, or using the smokes to apply pressure where he can rotate to different areas, which is smart. I actually like the way that he's been dedicating his utility so far, and we're going to continue to see if he does that. Mech's going to be on sandwich window. Speaking of utility, the air jab's so good on here due to the fact that air jabs cannot knock you off of your repel. So he can actually place an air jab on the floor in front of him inside of sandwich window, and it will knock down anybody that tries to cross. Speaking of knocking, Mex will knock Rexon's head off for him. Another thing that's very nice about those air jabs, you can place them around the window over on AC to where no one can possibly hop outside safely. So no one's going to want to do that while Mex is on.
And it'll be pressure from the armory door as usual. And going back to what you're mentioning before, I brought it up. Abunai on Capitao is interesting, especially as an entry, but he is playing it like an entry fragger. It's not something we are used to seeing. Capitao being an entry fragger, and it's worked. It's absolutely worked so far.
I'll counter with this. I'll counter you with this. Think about it like this. Thatcher is more or less in the same boat as Capitao, utility basis wise, right? Like, you use it and you try and play safe until you use it, but after that you're able to frag out and really do whatever you want, because really Thatcher is just sledged with, you know, EMP balls. That's really it. But as I am discussing, that bombs is going to get traded out by a Bunai, but odd or Doodle.
What was your point there?
Loading. The fact that once you expend your utility, you're able to really do whatever you want, including just running at people and entry fragging.
Yeah, but one's a site execution operator.
Yeah, well, Thatcher can also be a site execution operator, but speaking of that, Vicious is going to be taking down literally everyone. It's going to be all left up to Mex, and possibly a 4K here for him if he's able to clutch up.
What's interesting to me is a lot of these kills have resulted from runouts and just in general very aggressive gameplay, and we see all three air jabs expended from Mex and a lot of success in this not overly aggressive, but this aggressive playstyle from Vicious Gaming. It's definitely interesting. Good positioning from Drip will take out Mex, and it'll be another round for Vicious. They move 2-1 advantage over Scylla's. They played that entire round well, but you gotta question maybe the utility usage of the Nomad that last round.
Just trying to protect himself on Sandwich, and that's where a lot of that expenditure went up.
Well, he didn't have an air jab on Sandwich.
No, I'm saying he expended over on AC, and I believe he put one on front door. I don't know exactly where he put the last one, but I know at least two places where Mex put down those air jabs. So he had one left. I'm going to assume that he put it either over on the window to where no one could hop out that way, or what was going on. But Get back to that Capitao that we were talking about. Actually, Abinai is going to switch it up. He's going to go to Jackal now, which possibly might be a 6 pick. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do have 6 picks still. So, well, besides that,
Temper's going to 6 pick.
Anyways, all right, we got everything fixed. Anyways, yeah, Temper is going to go off of Ying and IQ. But to get back to the Capitao conversation that we're having, Capitao can be treated as an entry frag operator. He's actually treated as that pretty often early on. He does have execute utility, as you're talking about, or if somebody's playing his shield, like Clash, something along those lines, or playing behind the deployable, he's very good at getting rid of them. But, I mean, he is a 3-speed 1 armor. He's fantastic at doing his job. So, especially with the para as well as the M249, I mean, you really can't knock his entry fragging skills if he's used that way. I mean, I look at Rainbow Six kind of like MOBAs, for instance. At higher tiers inside of MOBAs, you can really use any operator you want in any position. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could use Montang as an entry fragger. You could. It just, you know, it really all depends on what you want to do with said operators. So.
All right. I mean, I trust you. See,
all I'm saying is,
more or less what I expected.
Well, yeah, but like there's certain areas obviously where you can't use operators in certain contexts. Like obviously you can't use a hard breacher, anything else but a hard breacher for hard breach. You know what I mean? But for roles like flex, support, all that stuff, you can really interchange what you want. Obviously, you're not going to be the best at what they do. Like you can't change out Echo for playing denial for like Doc and go, oh, Doc can do as good as Echo can. Obviously, stuff along those lines. But you can try and use them in those contexts. Whatever your heart desires.
Entry into CCTV for Scylla's Guerrillas. As they look to establish any sort of a foothold, they'll have to attack Armory, which has not been the easiest site to attack we have seen so far on this play day.
Loading new mag.
Rather aggressive drip. He'll actually, he's off the Jaeger now. Drip off the Jaeger onto Valk, and we have Doodle onto Pulse. So this is what we were talking about before, actually.
Deploy sensor.
The role changes, the amount of flexibility they have as a team. Will that hurt them? Will that aid them? Etc. Etc. And it's definitely a conversation piece and something that I always find interesting round and round because I quite literally can't predict it. Besides maybe Bomb, Smoke, and Hyena on ACOG and G, it's tough to predict what these guys are going to do.
Pepper going to claim the life of Doodle, what we're talking about. That's going to mean no more Pulse downstairs. Bomb will be able to trade it onto a Bunai, though. Or excuse me, he's going to be able to refrag onto a Bunai, so that means Jackal will be lost. No more feats, he's getting tracked. As not loading, he's trying to play an angle from underneath on the window. This is starting to fall apart a little bit for the offense here. They need to try and find some more footing, possibly get yet another entry frag. Try and, excuse me, open up the site just a little bit more. Bombs will claim yet another life here, though. Smex is on the sandwich window, trying to do his due diligence, but it seems like it's going to fall on deaf ears.
And if you are still as Guerrillas, especially now losing mechs, you're all right. Well, you're basically just trying to make magic happen. Right now, if you're a Temper, especially in this 1v4, it's a good way to start with a pick onto Bombs. Fall will come out, though, and Rexon will come out ahead. And it'll be Vicious Gaming to win their 3rd round in a row. They've come on nothing but strong lately. Well-placed shots from Rexon also. Pixel Peek. Don't see that quite often from the Triangle site.
Talking for 2 seconds.
Oh, not bad. X is still going to continue picking Nomad, and from what we've seen, we haven't heard or seen a single air jab go off. And in general, Vicious Gaming have still been playing their aggressive play styles, and that is just keep a weathered eye on it, I guess, for the time being, because it hasn't found success yet. Not to say it won't. Abinai 6-picked off of Blackbeard onto Ying. So the things Temper has been teasing, we might see come to fruition, and sure enough, we will. So they know they have to go to customs, bathroom tellers. More than likely, it's going to be bathroom tellers is the comms, and secret 2 bathroom tellers is once you gain control of offices, once you gain control vertically, the site becomes infinitely easier. Stokes touched on it before, but with that early pick upstairs, all of a sudden things fall apart. Ying probably one of the best operators you can pick as far as I know where you are, I'm going to make it mine. And that's more than likely what the idea behind her being picked is. I still do very much like the rest of the lineup from Scylla's Guerrillas, especially with the IQ being brought. Again, a necessity when you're up against Echo and Valk, or at least available. And I still like the, it's not to say I do not like the Nomad. It's just that we haven't seen the full power of her just yet. And as Stokes mentioned, a lot of teams are still feeling her out as far as just where she plays a role, what we want to do with her. So I still very much appreciate her being played as far as Mex is concerned. And surprisingly, not a lot of attention in offices. Obviously, a lot of utility devoted, but not a lot of bodies inside the office. Instead, a very wide coverage. Armory, archives, and well, the rest of the north side border. Do see a setup for an armory push. They know the mute jammer is down on that armory window, so that will be the next little test for these teams. In a nice little cushion inside of archives.
Swapping mags.
A very wide coverage here from Vicious Gaming. I'm curious to see how Scylla's Guerrillas choose to adapt to this. Rexen pushed off his position inside. Oh, but Abunai with the team kill onto Temper. Unfortunate. Shots to take out the IQ, and he will fall himself. Not the start Scylla's Guerrillas were looking for, and Vicious Gaming are coming out nothing but ahead. Max will just thrown alongside that hallway and take out Rexen. And Loading picks up one for himself, but it'll be immediately refragged by Drip, who is still fighting so viciously inside of Half Metal. He has 3 for himself at the moment. So look to pick up a 4th and secure another round for Vicious Gaming. The speed angle's held right now, and this is not the uphill battle you're looking for if you are Mex. Drip will pick up his 4th. One hell of a round for the previously known Yardy.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Just had to handle something very, very quickly. But beautiful casting as always, my friend. And Vicious going to claim yet another round, 4-1. And then I feel like this is just a snowball effect. Scylla's finally got their footing a little bit like, okay, we can fight back in this round. We can do this. And Vicious is just looks at the cards that they have and they go, I don't think we really like that. Let's try and turn it up a little bit. And this is exactly what they've done so far. This is going to be 3 straight for them now. And if Scilla doesn't at least start things up this round, I see no coming back from them.
Right, and I am enjoying this style of Vicious Gaming rather than the overly aggressive, which is certainly what they were in NA qualifiers, because they were just winning everything, every gunfight. But through the beginning, the first 2 play days for Vicious Gaming, they found a lot of struggles when they went to that overly aggressive, peak everything play style. And here we're seeing a much more methodical defense coming out from them and set operator roles. It's a new phase, basically, for the recently picked up 92 Dream Team.
Yeah, they've looked so good since getting picked up. I will say the one thing, though, the lack of a coach might come back to bite them just a little bit. I don't know if they've recently picked one up. I haven't seen any news on Twitter and that matter, but the constant roster changes might have punished them a little bit, but it doesn't seem that it's really slowed them down. I mean, it seems to me that this bombs pickup has actually helped them quite a bit.
Yeah, and Bombs is playing the role they are missing. So when you're gunners, you want to play the ACOGs on D, you want to play the 3 speeds, and nobody wants to just sit back and play the smoke. No one wants to sit back and just do what you need to do, and that's the role Bombs fills so well. And we're seeing the fruits of that pickup right now. He's been popping off on some of these rounds. And alongside the rest of them, they all had their share of glory, and that's the strength of 92 Dream Team, and that's what we've been used to.
Looks like they're going to do a top hold once again. Ventilation Workshop is going to be the selection. If you guys weren't paying attention, you're just joining back with us. So they are going to be holding the Army locker still, just due to the fact of that vertical play being so important on this site. Like things are going to be starting off for Scilla's Guerrillas over here on the east side. Now, you regularly have two choices when you want to start things on this map, and starting things off with a kill is definitely what you want to do, as loading will claim the life of Drip. But you can either start over inside of CCTV room, or you can start inside of offices. Just depends on what easier. CCTV if you want to try and claim the armor locker's wall, which Rexon is currently standing on. Thank you, cameraman, for that. Offices is going to be on the other side if you want to try and focus on your fountain as well as your archives. Start playing over from there. But it's going to be a little bit of a spectator side thing with that body, as you guys saw, not loading, peeking through that. But they are going to go for the office side of things here. No dedication.
Likewise with office, they are pushing into tellers alongside. So it's going to be a joint effort to at least gain control of the eastern side, and more than likely push into bathroom for the plant onto the east side of workshop. And it's a lot of setup right now for Scilla's Guerrillas, but they haven't been able to execute so far the rest of this game, except for Abunai. And right on cue, they'll pick up the kill onto Doodle. And it's going to be an uphill battle for Vicious Gaming, but certainly not something they aren't accustomed to. We've seen them time and time again pull out these gunfights, but it would seem that Scilla's Guerrillas are vastly determined to take control of these rounds. You do see Rexon rotating into office with that plant going down through Nugs. Unique hallway. No idea where loading is inside of that fountain. With the plant down, this is going to be one heck of a time, and he'll look the direction of Rexon. I'm sorry, he'll look the direction of loading, but unfortunately look away at the wrong time. Well played from Scilla's Guerrillas, and they'll go into the half 2-4. Not exactly ideal, but border a more defender-sided map than not. So who's to say how the rest of this half works out? But Vicious Gaming on attack have looked nothing but good so far through CL, through the first two play days.
Well, I mean, the initial thing for me is the fact that all maps are really defensive sided right now, just due to the meta. I mean, we have such an information meta on the defense that really punishes. That one's probably the most equal, but I honestly think that stats wise right now is still defensive sided. I really do.
Clubhouse recently, with whatever recent statistics was posted by CGG, Clubhouse actually swayed the way of attack when 2 hard breaches were brought. It was like 51. It was 51%. It wasn't great, but so with that introduction, at least,
let me paraphrase this for a second. The last stats that I saw, every single map was defensive sided, just due to the fact of what meta that we are in. With the amount of information opposite defense has, is just because the offense does not have that much information base. And I hate to say it, but the main information op is currently not with us because Lion is banned, which isn't a bad thing because Lion is clearly broken, but he needs to be back in a workable fashion to where they actually have an information-based op.
And
Dokkaebi doesn't cut it. Jackal's good, but for the context of literally everything, they just have so much more information on the defense. It's quite difficult.
Well, and alongside that, a lot of reason you saw that Dokkaebi, Jackal, Glaz, Blackbeard, Lion lineups is because, as you mentioned, so many maps are defender-sided that you actually kind of need to bring those sorts of lineups to have at least a shooter's chance versus a good team on defense. And with the Dokkaebi nerf, with Lion's rework, with Glaz's up-and-coming rework, it's only going to get more difficult for attacking operators, let alone Mozzie, who takes away your information on attack and uses it against you. It's just the nightmare for attackers.
Yeah, it truly is, and it's only going to get more difficult, as you said, but, you know, everyone will just continue to get better and better and trying to figure out how to play around these operators. I mean, we always have, especially in the offense, like, you have to play around Maestro, you have to play around Echo, and those are very difficult things. They make opposite counter them, but sometimes the counter really isn't enough. I mean, there's plenty of places where you can put Echoes that are very hard for IQ to get to, but We are going to be talking about that. Some very well-placed nades by Doodles. He will take down Nugs. There's going to be no more Echo. We will be able to see through those yokais, but they will not be able to launch anything. A quick kill by Mex and Loading. We'll try and equal things out and actually claim the lead on bodies. No bombs. Oh my goodness gracious. Going to take down Mex. 3v3 with a minute 20 left. It seems like all the action is going to be over here on the southwest side. A couple of bullets will tap the side of Temper, but nothing fatal just yet. Nitro cell tape ripped and in hand, but he will be able to put that away. MPX now, as he is just waiting for the sounds of someone trying to run through the wall, trying to get this bomb down. They do know he's here, though. They do not want to try and dedicate themselves just yet, but Temper wants to bide his time as long as possible. They do have Nugs Echoes still in play, but you don't see any above Temper. We would see the little yokai signature, but Temper will get taken down by Rex and Loading. An immediate refrag, though, as it's a 2v2. We're going to have trades continue to run back and forth. Bomb going to try and come down, but Loading from actually underneath will be able to claim yet another. Hyena going to take down a Bunai. It's going to be all left up to Loading up against Hyena. Loading does not have a nitro cell. Hyena's actually going to get off of plant. Oh, and a perfect transfer by Loading. Is he going to be able to win this 1v1 situation? 30 seconds left on the clock. Now, this is going to be all up to the decision of Hyena. Will he try and force this plant? He's going to throw an EMP and try and bait the sound. More than likely going to try and go for the bomb plant here. He's getting immediately spotted every single second, and Loading from underneath. What a play by not Loading to be able to rotate underneath. Knew that he had the information basis to be able to make that play. And Hyena not doing the smartest thing. He tried to throw the EMP to try and get rid of the camera, but I don't think he knew exactly where it was. More or less just a shot out of a cannon at anywhere it would land in the valley, and not going to work out for him.
Yeah, that was, it actually goes to show you the power of information right there. I mean, it ultimately was the winner, and why defenses are having so much success. And I want to touch on that again. Was another reason why attacking is so difficult right now in Siege is not only are they trying to learn strategies and learn the best attacks, etc., but defense in general. You could play defense not to a perfect level, 80%. And if you win up against an 80% attack, you will win. Just simply because defense is inherently easier. Because they have to come at you, and if you're not organized, if you perhaps get a frag, or you're already at the angle you need to be. Whereas attack, if you're not perfectly executing, it's just so difficult. It's almost additive versus multiplicative for attack versus defense. It's and that's probably an ode to why we're seeing so many defenses find success. Again, that angle opened up, more than likely going to be played by Nug. It's the same angle we saw Hyena pick off Loading right off the bat into CCTV's door. I'm really curious to see if we're going to see, that would be the funniest thing ever, if we saw a repeat of that kill yet again. And yeah, this is how Border is played, and this is what I was mentioning before, where the strategies are pretty much fleshed out, where you're going to be fighting on second floor and north side probably 80% of your time. If you're on attack, you're on team, doesn't matter. This is the focus of this entire map, is just this north side. And that's why you'll see a lot of teams take it, because they're comfortable with defending it. But also the reason why we're seeing just pretty much just gunfights. Hasn't been a whole lot of execution of strategies as much as we know where you are, we just have to win the gunfight.
Reloading.
You're absolutely correct. And honestly, I think the biggest thing for me here is, honestly, the strategies from Scilla's Guerrillas so far have been quite good. Now, they've been more or less playing the trade game, which isn't a bad thing, and they won it the last time, got it down to the 1v1, and you gave the person that can see most clutches on your team the chance to, once again, clutch up, and that's exactly what Not Loading did. But Temper actually going to find Drip and going to fall to the earth off of that rappel, and they thought that they had a shot up top. They got the wall immediately open, and oh my goodness, what a shot from Hyena. Nade was following that as well, so Temper was not making that out which way or how. I mean, my goodness, talk about an explosive personality, am I right? Anyways.
Oh god, that was terrible.
Anyways, Vicious Gaming going to be able to claim up top. They do know that Mex is still lying in wait over inside the archives. Doodle, though, will be able to take down a Bunai from underneath. So, lots of deaths on the defense so far.
And smart of Hyena to take that IQ, especially when we saw the influence of information that last round. It'll be Mech still defending up top. Typically, especially when you're droned out at this point, you've lost your support. We see players back out. I'm decently surprised to see him still duking it out here. Loading will back him up, though, with the kill onto Rexen. So it's paying dividends, at least this delay. With only 50 seconds left, Vicious Gaming are going to have to displace him. Next will just back off himself and make magic happen as they look to set up the site rather late. Displacing these defenders so late into this round is going to cause a little bit of a mismatch down below where the plant is hopefully going to go off. A grenade will be thrown in. I'm not sure if that hit the ground or stayed up top. And Hyena and Doodle will take advantage of poor positioning from the rest of Guerrillas. Plant seemingly going down, but ultimately will actually completely fall. You see Doodle open up angles, and it's going to be a 3v1 angles held. This is not going to be pretty, and the Doodle will just smack him in the face with that skeleton key. And it will be Vicious Gaming taking a round for themselves in pretty decisive fashion.
Doodle doing his best impersonation of a snake on the ground, so we'll be able to claim that. But yet another round. yet another round for Vicious Gaming as we break character there for a second. But I think that Scilla still has an opportunity to bring this back. They're only down 2 rounds. They still have a few very, very good sites. Ventilation Workshop is still open for them. And if they win this, then Armory Lockers is going to be open for them as well. So after this, they'll still be able to go back either way. So we'll see if they're able to do that. But honestly, once again, if they win here, I see them winning the next round just due to the fact that Armory Lockers will be opened again. So I think the biggest thing for them right now is the fact that they're playing aggressive against a team that enjoys aggression. They expect you to make the aggressive play because that's how they play. It's kind of like, well, more than less, anybody. When you jump inside of Rainbow Six Siege and you jump into a match, you jump into a game, competitive or ranked or whatever, you expect people to play how you play. You expect them to do a smart play or an aggressive play, however your play style is. That's how you expect other people to act. So they're expecting you to be aggressive. When you try to make those aggressive plays, they're ready for it. And they're showing you that right now. Especially with that last round coming down massive. Temper had an early frag onto Drip on Sandwich Window, but that didn't pay back at all. They immediately fell off. They lost Armory Lockers. Everyone's pushed back into Archive, and they got fragged out or had to drop immediately. And it just became a straight up shooting gallery for Vicious Gaming.
It literally fragged out. We've seen Vicious Gaming bring 4 frags every round so far, and they're using it very, very effectively. So a weakness of pushing this Armory side is you have to displace those perhaps at small office door or on metal, half metal, and they're using frag grenades just to cover that distance themselves and are pretty much eliminating that issue. So therefore, just opening up this Armory take and just making it so much easier. It's been very well played for Vicious Gaming so far. They've set everything up for themselves in pretty decisive fashions, I would say. Every attack they've done, despite losing that first round, which again was winnable for them, it's looked pretty decisively in their hands. And we'll see a similar style of attack come out again. Frag grenade picked up by an ADS this time. By clearing them, or at least some kind of information. And yeah, it's going to be Mex on half, and it'll be up to him to duke it out from bunker. But you mentioned Vicious Gaming, they love this. They want that. They wanted to take those duels, except when they look the other way like that from bombs. But they more than welcome these kind of duels than any other team we've seen.
Absolutely. I will say one thing, though. I really like the amount of dedication with these deployable shields that Scilla Guerrillas have. We don't see that too often anymore. We see it quite a lot inside of Pro League, where they will try and forcibly make an angle with the deployable shield, but I like the amount of usage that it's getting here from Scilla Guerrillas. It's really helping out their Jaeger mechs upstairs right now, with him being able to rotate in between the half wall and the lockers area. But That's going to get shut down now as Mex is kind of on an island upstairs. He's going to try and take the gunfight. He sees that someone's playing behind the shield. Drip's going to get immediately aggressive, as you do, and he will be able to take down Mex. He's going to equalize things out here for Vicious Gaming. It's 3-3. They're hard breach, and Doodle will be down on the buck, as well as a nitro cell and a pretty expendable gun gone on the defense.
And with 50 seconds left, we've seen them completely execute this 3v3 before, but a new position. Well, Temper, and this might be fruitful for him. A swing and a miss from Drip. Don't worry, no one saw that. The angle's being held. Clearly the plant is going to be coming inside of ventilation again, which is no surprise with the armory push. And it'll be up to Temper and the rest of Scylla's Guerrillas to appropriately respond to this plant. With 20 seconds left, this is completely in the favor of Abunai. If he manages to place these toxic babes correctly, he will throw one inside. I'm not sure if that covered enough area. It does not matter though. Drip will shut it down. Drip has made his way into sight. No one left on site. The plant will go down from Rexon. Basically a 2v2 without that gun. Drip will get aggressive again and will fall for Nugs. And it'll be a 1v3 for Temper as he made his way through offices and is now trying his best to duke it out from Armory. But he won't find much luck here. So many angles being held already. 3 ACOGs to go through. This is not the uphill battle you want. A C4 still in hand too. A little bit questionable. Drip, an absolute tear of a round for the man himself, and certainly a fan favorite. One heck of a round on Sledge.
Jared,
Black Ice.
Jared, a wise man once said, "Drip too hard, don't stand too close. You might mess around and catch some bullets." And that's exactly what happened there to Scylla's
I'm literally
Guerrillas'
watching you read that quote right now.
I didn't read it. I was looking over at you because I wanted to see your reaction.
Okay.
Someone's gonna be like, "That's not the exact lines," but it's whatever. You know, we're doing it for the context. I enjoy adding a handful of memes in for you guys. I love having, you know, fresh memes for everyone inside of chat. It's always a fun thing to have. But 12-6 currently for not loading as expected. Drip 12-5, so doing it one better by keeping one of those deaths off the board and see if they're able to clean things up and win. Match point right here for Vicious Gaming. This is no win possible now for Scylla's Guerrillas, and actually a famous quote by Pengu once said, "I kind of like this tie thing. I kind of like this whole tie thing." You wanna know why I like this whole tie thing? Because once we get to the point of match point, there is no way that you can possibly win the game, and I think that's kind of funny. That's literally what he said.
I believe it. I've seen his Twitter. Yeah, yeah, it's not the happiest place on earth, so yeah, makes sense to me.
The realization that you can only get 1 point after all of your efforts is kind of sad.
It's almost demoralizing. Yeah, for sure. But we'll try to get off the topic of depressing and go to the how's math work the 10th round of this game. Scylla's Guerrillas versus Vicious Gaming. Vicious Gaming have come alive at the moment, and they've done what I've wanted to see, where, again, we talked about it, this semblance of roster roles, where I asked them themselves, I talked with Drip before CL started, and I said, what are your defined roles looking like, and what do you see each individual player doing? Is there anything that you think is worth noting? He said, we are all gunners, basically. And that was flex. Everybody is a flex, and we're seeing structure now, and it seems to be paying dividends for the ranked stars.
Well, the thing about that is that it helps out a lot with your playstyle, because if you can constantly go, I'm a gunner, I'm a gunner, I'm a gunner, and that's all you know, when you get to that support role and you have to play a little bit more passively, you need to regard your utility and not completely disregard it and just throw yourself to the wind, it helps out a lot because you have to place your brain in that mode. You can't just go, okay, I'm playing Maestro, but I can run around and try and gun like I'm Jaeger. That does not compute. You have to try and stay alive, keep those evil eyes up, play the long angles, try and melt people with the Aldo when you can, and get aggressive when you can too. You know, you have to be able to be smart with it. But a one-tap going to come out from Bomb will end the life of Mex. No more Jaeger, but again, an expendable gun. That's what you expect. You expect the Jaeger to waste some time, but I don't believe it's going to be enough A minute 30 still left on the clock, and Bomb's trying to find yet another victim as he's looking down literally all the way into Narnia, which is lockers. Rexon will claim the life of Temper in the meantime, so no more Nitro Cell as Vicious Gaming appears to be going all the way. A frag grenade, almost said a slag grenade. A frag grenade will get tossed into Mini, but Nugs will find Doodle Drip to claim yet another. Someone will go down. It's going to be Hyena. Abunai going to be on the rotate here. He will be able to claim 1 life. And oh my goodness, what a shot. It's only going to be Rexon left alive against 2. Loading up here as well. These 2 have been so good so far. Will he win it? No, Rexon. Oh my goodness, everyone. Rexon, speaking of gunner, here's a gunner for you. Gonna take down Loading and immediately gets the headshot onto Abunai. What a game by Vicious. 7-3 here on Border.
Glad also that last game we finally found the secret. It wasn't in the closet the entire time. Narnia was apparently just on Border in the lockers. Huh? That's the big secret? That's where all the books took place? Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Look at me with your beautiful eyes. It's my brain.